Hey, it's me. I want to talk about how we grow and change as we move through different phases on this path. At first, we focus on the surface layers of our unconscious mind, those old, rigid beliefs that we've called images. These form when we take certain life events or misunderstandings and create a fixed conclusion from them. Even though they might seem minor, they distort how we see ourselves and the world. Then we went deeper to the level of duality. There we battle with opposite forces, life and death, happiness and unhappiness, love and selfishness, light and darkness. We can feel confused and overwhelmed because the action we think will lead us to the positive often brings in some way the negative too. It takes a lot of honesty to see how our own reactions cause that confusion. Religion often talks about this as a struggle between God and the devil. Psychology may call it the fight between the life instinct and the death instinct, or between the pleasure principle and reality principle. We can easily get mixed up because it's unsure which side is good or bad. Is it selfish to want pleasure and happiness, or is it godlike because God is love and bliss? That kind of confusion runs deeper than we even realize. Underneath all the conflicts we discover in ourselves is this duality. And yet, even deeper than that, we find the real source of the split, our longing for complete happiness, opposed by the reality we perceive as blocking it. It's like we're stuck because we can't just fully enjoy life if we're afraid of losing it, the reality of death. And at the same time, our fear of death and loss fuels our sense that real happiness is out of reach. It's quite the conundrum. People have always tried to solve or dodge the issue of death. Some run to religion for safety, some pretend only the physical world exists, others cling to illusions or beliefs they haven't truly tested. The only honest way is to face the fear of death directly. If we ignore our fear or hide behind a religion because we're scared, that solution won't hold up. Real faith or deep conviction can only grow after we look our fear in the eye. And when we talk about death here, it doesn't just mean physical death. It includes every type of change or loss you dread. It's all the daily mini deaths, so to speak, rejection, defeat, the unknown. If we can learn to cope with these little losses in a healthy way, we unlock the life force that's been jammed up. We can feel safer even in the face of physical death because we're no longer avoiding it or pretending it can't happen. We accept it as a part of life on Earth. So there's two common but unhelpful strategies that people take when approaching the fear of death. The first strategy is avoid death by wishful thinking or blind faith. So in this case, we cling to the idea that somehow we'll never lose what we love, or we take on a belief system out of fear rather than understanding. We hope faith alone saves us from the reality of death. And the second common but unhelpful strategy is to lean into death, i.e., self-destructiveness. Sometimes people sabotage good things, ending them too soon or refusing them entirely because they think, I'll never keep this happiness, so I might as well give it up now. This is a hopeless, negative approach that also cheats us out of the good experiences life can offer. Both of these strategies keep us stuck. They're based in fear and they block real growth. The only way out is to be brave enough to face death in all its forms without denial and without giving up on life. That's how we free our energy and allow ourselves a measure of genuine happiness here on Earth. Now, you might have realized by now that you have a huge desire or wish for love, pleasure, and bliss. Part of that longing is natural. Part of it got bigger and more desperate because of how your childhood went. You learned that getting exactly what you wanted, exactly when you wanted, might be impossible. But I'm going to add another layer to this. A deep spirit memory of a time before birth when you felt closer to perfect bliss. You still carry that longing inside, and it clashes with the fact that on Earth, things don't come so easily. So it's easy to see why we feel torn. If we can't get that total bliss right now, does that mean we should be selfish and try anyway at the cost of someone else's well-being? Or do we give it up completely and feel empty? We imagine we have to pick between pleasing ourselves and doing the quote-unquote responsible thing. But this is an illusion of separation, me versus others, which we only solve by patiently learning that real fulfillment isn't selfish, and it doesn't have to hurt other people. We also get stuck because Earth has this concept of time. Something might not happen immediately, so we lose hope or go about it the wrong way. The child in us wants pleasure now. And if we can't have it, we might think, well, we can never have it. With maturity, we see that cause and effect can be spread out over time. If we're willing to wait and follow life's natural pace, we often find we do get what we really want eventually, just not instantly. When we give up that frantic, immediate demand, we also calm our fear of dying from unfulfilled desires. That calmer approach is crucial. So let's put this all together. Accepting that death, change, loss, transitions is part of life actually frees you to enjoy living more. Seeing how your childhood added to the frantic craving helps you realize you're not doomed. Your longing is healthy at its core. It just got tangled up in fear. And having patience rather than expecting instant gratification helps you align with life's deeper flow. Over time, it feels safer to let go of panic and let yourself care about others because you discover you don't lose out by doing so. In short, the challenge is to stand strong in the face of uncertainty, particularly the ultimate uncertainty, death. By doing that, you realize your bottled up life force can be released. You learn the difference between a negative, fearful acceptance, which might look like giving up on happiness, and a strong, clear-eyed acceptance that knows there's a time to relax and a time to act. This path calls you to see the bigger picture. You aren't forced to choose between goodness and happiness, or between caring for others and caring for yourself. Over time, you'll find that genuine love and healthy self-interest merge. You'll see beyond the illusions that drive you to pick extremes. That might mean letting go of the frantic belief that everything must be perfect now, and instead discovering a steadier hope. By bit, you really can reach profound joy, even in this life. Love you. Connect soon.